we're back live.
Your question is subject to executive session.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing.
Sure. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is now 9:46. I'm going to call this executive session into open session. And at the request of Councilman Pena, we are making an open session versus executive session a complaint asserting against Councilman Pena, asserting a hostile workplace regarding comments made by Councilman to a city employee. My understanding, Mr. Olson has spoken to the city employee, and the city employee is prepared to make a statement or to address the grievances as desired. Is that correct, Mr. Olson?
Her comment was that she was fine with having it in open session. We may offer her the opportunity to make a statement if she'd like, she doesn't.
Okay. The person that made the complaint, well, how the hell do I find out?
Brooks, may I make a...
No, sir.
I'd like to know a question. I have a question for the attorney.
Hold on a second, sir. You can ask the attorney a question.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson, I would ask if it is out of line to have the city attorney facilitate this particular portion of the open meeting, simply because, as I stated in my opening statement, Mr. Bass I personally believe is a politician and will guide this matter in whatever matches his political
Goodness
goals.
gracious, you're out of line, counsel. You're out of line. And that is, why don't you ask a specific question?
And that's what I'm asking Mr. Wilson, who is not a politician and will rightfully and legally abide by the law. I prefer that he guides this hearing based on the best interest of the city and not politics. Can I make that request, Mr. Wilson?
Well, I mean, if the majority of council wants me to preside, sorry, if the majority of council wants me to preside over this, I will. It would be unusual for the lawyer to act in that role.
The facts speak for themselves.
Well,
so, hey.
I think, Mayor, the next step was you were going to invite the complainant to make a comment if she so desired.
Yes, if not, I will read the statement from the complaint.
So is that an answer then, Mr. Wilson, that you will not be facilitating this?
Well, I'm not going to facilitate anything unless a majority of council tells me.
How would we arrive to that particular decision?
You can make a motion if you want to. Again, I'll reinforce, I'm willing to do it. It's a very unusual for the attorney whose job is to give legal advice to preside over such a hearing. It would be unusual. But I'll do it if that's the majority wants me to do. Otherwise, I think
I would like to make that motion.
Okay.
That the
We
city
have a motion
attorney,
from Councilman Benny. Go ahead, sir.
that the city attorney facilitate this particular process simply because of the information that I have that leads me to believe that there is a bias in the facilitation, not only in the past open sessions of council, but also here as it relates to this particular topic specifically.
All right, so thank you, sir, for your motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a second, and now we'll have discussion. You know, Mr. Councilman Pena, you make half-truths and accusations that end up coming back and just being absolutely not true. You dance around it, you jab at it, but you never completely land a hit. And so I appreciate the fact that you want to criticize the city manager. Your position's known. What I don't appreciate is you want to criticize me. And so if you have specifics, why don't you talk specifics?
I do.
But I tell you
And
what.
I would like to have them facilitated by Mr. Olson.
Well, you made your motion, and I'm responding to the question. And so therefore, we can certainly call a vote on this. And I'll do that. I'll call the question. All those in favor of Mr. Olson handling this question and answer, or whatever this is going to be, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Nay.
All right, guess what? It doesn't pass. Therefore,
I would just ask, Mayor, that you don't interrupt me when I'm trying to defend myself. Will I at least get the opportunity to fully defend myself?
well, you know what? Yes, except, you know, if you won't interrupt me, which you just did when I started talking. So, yes, I appreciate that, man. Your formalities and, anyway. So, ladies and gentlemen, we being the city of Freeport, council, as well as mayor, received a complaint from an employee certainly initially wanted to try to take care of an executive session, but Councilman Pena, as the accused, has the right to have an open session if that's what he so wants. But once again, we're here to talk about this because the complaint was alleged that actions of Councilman Pena created a hostile work environment. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if it was a complaint against you in your workplace and you're the boss, you better take this dadgum thing serious. And it wasn't something that was just said. It was an actual statement that was written. And there was some coverage of it on video and audio. And there were two councilmen that were at least present when this action occurred. There was three, actually, the accused and two others, Councilman Mariah and myself. But let me start by reading this complaint. On November 10th, 2022, RE formal complaint against
Mayor, are you
Councilman
acting as
Pena
this
or
lady's attorney at this point?
No, sir, I'm just reading this. This is a matter, since you've asked it to be in public session, this is a matter of public record. So I'm now reading it, and it's subject to an open records request. So anybody that would like to see this document, please feel free to do so. That's why we do an executive session sometimes. Not to hide it from you folks, but sometimes to respect the dignity of both people. But we're not doing that today, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing it in open session because Councilman Pena wants to do that. And I'm going to follow the rules of business. So, therefore, I'm going to read this complaint. So,
could I ask Mr.
I can ask you to be, would you stop and interrupt me and please allow me to finish the complaint, sir?
And Mr. Olson?
Thank you. Mr. Olson, you can answer whatever you want to, but I'm going to read the complaint because it's now a matter of public record. Because it was filed and it's in our files.
It is a public record.
Thank you, sir. Immediately following the adjournment of the meeting on November 7th, 2022, Councilman Pena became irate and started verbally attacking me without provocation.
We have a video on
During the
screen.
council meeting, Councilman Pena got flustered when he felt items were missing from his packet. Packets are given to each, excuse me, sir, I'm trying to read, please. Do not interrupt, please. Thank you. During the council meeting, Councilman Pena got flustered when he felt items were missing from his packet. Packets are given to each council member for each council meeting. At the beginning of this altercation, I thought Councilman Pena was joking around with me until he became angry and started cussing and called me a liar. It is my responsibility to provide all council members with the supporting documentation that is necessary for each council meeting. The information is emailed to each member of council the week before the meeting, and a complete packet of information is provided in a 3-ring binder at the start of each meeting. The individual binders with their names on them are collected at the end of each meeting for reuse at following meetings. Early in the Councilman Pena's term, he would take and keep his binder, which required us to purchase a new binder each time. When told not to take the binder, he instructed me if I was unwilling to purchase him a binder for each meeting, that I clip his packet together with dividers. This has been done since very early in his term. I would say approximately about a third or fourth meeting of his term. At the end of the November 17th meeting, Councilman Pena called my work half-assed. He was demeaning to me and was disparaging my work. He said that, quote, he did not ask for a half-assed packet, but I did it every time, unquote. Calling it half-assed and telling other close by, quote, what do you expect, close quote. The verbal abuse, profanity escalated from that point until he called me a liar and stormed out of the council chambers. The exchange was witnessed by Mayor Bass and Councilman Kane. Even Councilman Mariah witnessed the exchange and came to me apologizing on behalf of Council Pena for his behavior. Councilman Pena's use of profanity, aggressiveness towards me, belittling me, and attacking my integrity in front of the public and other council members had me in tears, which led to further embarrassment. This hostile work environment caused by Councilman Pena cannot be allowed to continue. Sincerely, Betty Wells. That is a complaint that was typed up and it was signed by Ms. Wells and given to Mr. Kelty and distributed to council at 2 executive sessions ago, I believe. We allowed a reset for Mr. Pena to be prepared to at least be able to respond. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all can get up there and call us names all you want. We're elected. This happens. But you can't intimidate, embarrass, cuss, belittle an employee. I don't care who you are.
Even the mayor.
It does not give you that right. I didn't bring this against Councilman Pena. No, ma'am. I didn't bring this against Councilman Pena. An employee did. I saw what took place. I saw her crime.
Sir,
I went over to
that's
her
not a
rescue.
statement.
So, well, I appreciate that, Councilman Pena.
So
but
I'm going to
you
try
don't
to
have-
defend myself.
You don't have- you don't have-
You don't get to embellish upon it, sir.
Yeah. Well,
That's out of
I'm
line.
actually saying what.
That's out of line.
All right, well, let's just do it this way. Councilman Ryan, did you see did you see Miss Wells' crime, sir?
You're going to frame this all the way you want to, Brooks, but I'm going to get a chance to respond.
You absolutely get a chance to respond, but did you see Mrs. Wells' crime?
I will not participate in this political game of yours.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, ma'am, please come up here for the record. She can come up and make an appointment. Now, she can come up and talk all she wants, especially since Councilman Ryan, Mr. I can't vote for the levy because I don't understand, opinion.
Okay, first,
Only votes go your way, Arlene.
okay, first of all, I am not one to file a complaint. I'm not one to, I hate chaos, I hate conflict. Sitting through these council meetings sometimes is all I can do. Councilman Pena, you know the way you spoke to me. You know how you talked to me. You know you called my work half-assed. But what do you expect when you have a half-assed city secretary?
That's not what I said.
You
No,
called me a
no,
liar
no,
on your
no,
way out the door.
We have the video.
Councilman Pena, please do not interrupt.
Because we
Please.
have the video.
This is an act of bullying, you interrupting her. Please allow her to finish, sir. Thank you.
I'm going to defend myself.
Councilman Mariah, you came up to me and you told me you were sorry for how Councilman Pena talked to me. He had no right, and that you were going to talk to him. You seen it, you witnessed it, and now you don't know part of it? I honestly, I can't believe I'm right here right now where I'm at. I've been an employee for the city for 17 years and I've never had to do anything like this. I'm shocked, I'm hurt, I'm embarrassed, and I'm angry. I mean, Councilman Pena, there's been many, maybe not many, but there's one council meeting that I recall where you called a resident, you insinuated that she was from the peanut factory,
Peter Gallery.
peanut gallery.
It was
My
actually not
lord.
an individual. It was
Councilman Pena,
actually.
please allow her to finish her statement.
So that's my point.
Excuse me,
is-
ma'am, excuse me.
You're doing a terrible job facilitating.
Thank you, I'm glad you don't like it.
Excellent.
So please allow her to finish, and then you're gonna get plenty of time to
Possibly
speak.
another one that's putting the city at legal risk. I mean, I'll have to ask the question of Mr. Olson here.
Yeah, well,
So
would you just
please
let her
dig.
finish?
Please dig.
Would you let her finish,
Please
please?
keep digging. You're hurting the city.
Wow. Well, at least I haven't sued the city.
Well,
Go ahead, ma'am.
I was instructed by the city to follow that procedure. So
Go ahead, ma'am.
I don't even know what to say. I just hope that y'all take in consideration that something has to be done, at least to stop his intimidation, his inconsideration to the employees, not just me, several
Keep
employees.
it to yourself, please, ma'am.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's just gotta stop. I'm still, I mean, people still comment on it. I'm still embarrassed. And basically just say, I don't wanna talk about it.
What exactly happened?
During the city council meeting, he got flustered. I mean, I sit there, I hear him, because his packet got out of order. He got it out of order. The packets are made from one packet. You each get it off of that one packet.
Okay, but yet the video will show that I was asking for parts of the packet that were not
Councilman,
included.
can you please allow the witness to
That's
speak
not
a chance to say something?
I can guarantee you, Councilman Pena, I don't go and take papers out of your packet.
I'm the only one that's ever asked for it.
You know what?
Repeated events.
There,
We have so many recordings of videos of me asking not only
Councilman
Ms.
Pena,
Mass, but
would you
also
please,
Mr. Olson,
I tell you
Mr.
what,
Kelty,
Councilman Pena,
parts of the.
let me ask Mr. Olson. Mr. Olson,
I'm not, obviously, I'm not moderating this, but this is essentially like a complaint file, you get an option, so both parties have due process, right? She has an opportunity to talk about her complaint, and again, like the mayor said, keep it confined to the complaint. You can answer questions, let her finish that process, and then you're gonna get the floor.
I just,
He just explained it.
with the queuing of questions by the mayor.
Well, anybody on council can ask her questions, and anybody on council with whom they're gonna ask you questions.
Fair enough.
So the packets,
But I will have a chance to respond and ask any
Absolutely.
questions.
Yes, sir.
the packets were given out. They're made off of one packet. It's the final product. When I start making the copies, I scan them in, I make the copies, I put the binders together. The only difference between Councilman Penas and the rest of councils is his was claimed, which is how he requested it in the very beginning. He said, just make sure there's dividers. He was flustered. He kept telling Councilman Kane he can't get his shit organized. He gets a wonky packet. I honestly thought we were joking at the end of the council meeting. I thought we were joking around until he became just what he became. I had people call me after the council meetings to make sure I was okay because they did witness it. You don't hear a lot, but you can see it. Again, Councilman Mariah apologized on his behalf. And here we are.
You want to ask him now, Mr. Wilson? Yeah, go ahead and ask some questions.
Let me make one more comment. I take pride in my job. I try to make sure I do everything to the best of my ability to make sure you guys are prepared. I try to work with residents, and I believe I have a good working relationship with the majority of the citizens here in Freeport, the ones that I deal with. So this here again, I know who I am, and I pray that y'all know who I am. I did not do anything intentional or deliberate to sabotage Councilman Pena's packet, and I just don't feel that he should be allowed to get away with the way he spoke to me. That's all.
Hold on, Jeff. I just want to say a few things. And I just want to say that I did witness the event take place, but I feel like this could have been taken care of in-house. They could have, it didn't have to come out in the public the way it's going. But that's the only comment I have to make. That's it.
I have a couple of questions here.
Hold on 1 second, sir. You understand that Councilman Opinion is the one that asked me in public? You understand?
Yes, sir. But I'm clarifying that the city manager, city secretary, Mr. Pena, y'all could have worked on this situation in City Hall.
You understand that there's an allegation of let me just ask this real quick before we go further. Mr. Olson, if there's an allegation of a hostile work environment, what should the city do? Hide behind, sweep on the rug, hide it away? What should they do?
Whenever you have an official like, also the city secretary or somebody, make a formal complaint to the mayor, I think that I obviously have a legal duty to look into it. I think y'all have obviously the right to look into it, but a duty as well.
What would happen if we did not look into it?
Well, the exposure from getting a hostile environment, workplace lawsuit, I mean, there's all sorts of things that could come out of this if we don't give the parties an opportunity to have their due process and say their piece about that.
Councilman Kane, do you have any questions or comments, sir?
I do not, Mayor. Unfortunately, I was leaving whenever the fireworks started. I will say, as I was leaving, I thought that they were joking about the binder as well. As I got outside and got to the restroom, I noticed voices were rising inside here, so I poked my head back in, said, hey, the mics are still on. They killed the mics, killed the video. That was it.
All right, thank you, sir. And Councilman Penny, before you get to take your time to give your point of view, I recall signing documents words back and forth. At first, I thought it was joking as well. What drew my attention is when I heard a cuss word. I don't remember what that cuss word was, but it was enough to draw my attention to look.
It was half
And
ass.
then, okay, I heard a cuss word.
That was the one.
And then, thank you, sir. So I heard a cuss word, and then I looked, and then I immediately saw the look on Eddie's face. And it looked distraught, it looked sad, there were tears coming out of her eyes. Mr. Pena walked off, and I wasn't paying attention to what he said. My focus was on her, and I think if you go back to the video, I actually rubbed back. And she has tears coming down her eyes. And she's upset, and she's distraught. And that's what I saw. And I saw Mr. Madden Morris standing in here as well, I believe. I apologize, I believe, to Mr. Councilman Pena about what took place that night. Councilman Pena, your floor, sir.
So I guess I want to start off with basically, I take pride in my position. I actually take it very serious, what I do as a volunteer, as an elected official here for city council for city of Freeport, and that's for Ward A and all of Freeport. But all you have to do is look at the videos. And I recommend that we do. Not only just for the November 7th, but every video beforehand when we've seen the mayor and other councilmen be completely outlandish, completely disruptive, and I just want you guys to remember what my composure was at that time, because I want to make sure that we're not mischaracterizing this simply on the verbal account by everybody here. I would say that by Miss Betty Wells and by the mayor. It's on the video. It's on the video, and I encourage everybody to go watch the video. I'll say this: I have a couple of questions for Ms. Wells and Mayor. You can answer them if you'd like. Betty, you have made allegations against me that I have created a hostile workplace towards you. Is that correct? Please tell me in the public exactly what I said or did at the end of the meeting. And that's what you just did, right? Okay. You prepare the binder for council members at every meeting. Thank you. So if other council members have papers in their binders, but I don't have those papers, you are responsible for that, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. If my binder is missing documents on a regular basis, it would be fair to me to ask for you about that. To ask you about that, because you're the person that puts it together, is that correct? I asked for the Kelty performance documents, and they were not provided. I asked for a copy of the Brimage report, those were not provided.
Councilman Pena, I appreciate this, but can you keep it to the
council by
would you please keep
Mr.
it
Bass and his
specific,
house.
sir?
I'm getting to it, Mayor.
Okay, go ahead.
Grief. Afford me some patience, will you?
You know,
Because you only want to go here and grandstand for yourself, but let me speak.
yeah, you know, because I'm running for reelection.
I've asked-
No, I'm not grandstanding, Jim.
No, but you're
I'm not
not-
the one that does that. Please go ahead.
But you're obstructing.
But would you be specific, sir?
I'm working on this, sir.
All right, thank you.
I don't ask you how to tailor your questions. I've asked for a copy of the Brimage report, and those weren't provided from Ms. Wells. I've asked for a Kelty performance documents, and those were also not provided by Mrs. Wells. And for that matter, the Brimage report is being kept from the council by Mr. Bass at his personal residence or office, I'm not sure which, but that's another matter. I've asked for the organizational chart with the names of the directors, and that has also not been provided. I've asked for agenda items, no, actually it was in public already, it was already in the public domain prior to that meeting, I made sure of that. It's on social media, thank you. I asked for agenda item documents on several occasions, and they have not been provided. I've asked for the agenda items in the meetings where you can see it on video, where I've asked Mr. Kelty for the documents, and I've made it be known that my folder didn't have the documents that everybody else did. And there's been occasions where Mr. Kelty gives me his copy, or Mr. Bass gives me his copy, or Mr. Kane kindly gives me his, or Mr. Olson has given me his. Mr. Brimage and Mr. Mariah are too far that way to have offered their materials to me. But time and time again, if you look at all the videos, the only councilman that has ever had missing documents has been me. I followed the rules and I requested agenda items, and those were not posted. It was another communication that went unheard. Luckily, Mr. Olson informed me that I can post the agenda items if Ms. Wells does not. And I had to post here recently the agenda myself because both Mrs. Wells and Mr. Kelty refused. So, Betty, isn't it reasonable to ask for you to provide you a complete council meeting packet that you provide to all the other councilmen?
Ms. Wells, would you like to go to the mic and respond to the voluminous accusations by Mr. Pena?
It's just one question that I have.
Well, no, we
No,
both.
I get to determine what is acceptable. That's one. No action. Yeah, my question is, Betty, isn't it reasonable to ask for you to provide you with a complete council meeting packet that you provide to all the other councilmen?
Ms. Wells,
Is that a reasonable request?
do you have a response, ma'am?
Yes. This packet is my original packet. This packet goes on the scanner, copier, and it's copied every Friday. Every binder is made off of this, including yours, Councilman Penas.
And magically mine still misses locks.
I think what happens, since you make all your little accusations, you get flustered, you get turned around, you get scattered, and you get your stuff mixed up.
Please keep it straight to the response, ma'am.
I believe he gets his stuff mixed up.
Well, if you want to, I might have a couple other questions. Let's talk about the video on November 7th. Because Betty, you are the city secretary, correct?
I am.
The city secretary is not just a secretary, you are the corporate secretary, you are a public official, correct?
Correct.
One of the duties is to make and preserve the records of the city, correct?
Correct.
Our entire conversation after the meeting was recorded on the meeting video on Facebook Live, true?
True.
The entire conversation was not.
So nobody needs to take your word, or Mr. Bass's word, or even take my word.
For Councilman
All they
Williams,
have to do is look at the recorded video, correct?
it did not record everything at the end.
Exactly, so that's my next point. But the audio portion of that video, audience and people at home, is incomplete. The audio was cut off during our conversation, yet it wasn't cut off during the live feed, so why is the current feed that's online edited? The video that you were in charge of making.
You're not gonna
No,
accuse me of
excuse me, ma'am,
anything.
stop, please. Councilman Pena, if you're gonna make accusations of editing, it was stopped when Councilman Kane heard it still going outside, sir.
The
You
video-
can't just make the truth up. And the fact that you're still continuing to do this, Jeff, is appalling.
Is it the video that Ms. Wells is in charge of making and keeping as the custodian of records? It is incomplete. It is missing audio. So, yeah, we can look at the video, but I'm interested in that audio as well. Well, let's talk about the lawsuits. And this is a question from Mr. Olson. I'm done. Mrs. Wells. Thank you.
Take a step back and just recognize that the recording, visual and audio is for the time in which the meeting is actually in session. It probably should have been cut
It
off
was.
as soon as the meeting was adjourned.
Well, hot mics prove a lot. Hot mics prove a lot. And I'll get into that. But I want to talk about the lawsuits. I have been informed, Ms. Wells, that you intend to sue the city alleging a hostile workplace. Is that correct?
No, sir.
First of all, I don't get, Mr.
I don't know who you're getting the information from, that is untrue.
Betty should.
So
You're acting as your defense attorney now.
No, I'm asking you as a decent human being
No,
who
you're asking-
doesn't harass women.
You
That's all I'm asking.
have legalese language on this. I know.
Mr. Daniel, do you have any other questions directly related to this issue?
I absolutely do. I've been informed that was the case, that Ms. Wells had, and Mr. Kelty had brought this to our attention, that she was alleging a hostile workplace, number one. Betty, have you told any other person?
It actually was in the document itself.
Right, and so the document, which is public record, represents that. So I've asked, Betty, have you told any other person that you're thinking about suing the city based on the
I
hostile?
have never said I was suing the city, Judge.
Except in the letter.
Okay.
I never said I was suing the city in the letter.
Accusations, that's not the purpose of this. And you don't have to answer these questions if you don't want to.
Well, let me ask this here. Ms. Wells, you typed up this agenda, correct? You said that you also put it together and then you Xerox copy, correct? Okay. You specifically used the term hostile
So if you're gonna
workplace.
respond, you need to
Pardon?
get back to the mic, please.
I think she was heard. She confirmed. On this agenda, you just admitted that you typed this as agenda. And so, in this agenda.
Yeah, that's what agenda you're referencing, please.
So one from tonight and the one from 2 weeks ago.
Thank you.
You typed up this agenda then and now, tonight, and you specifically used the term hostile workplace on this agenda. Did anybody else prepare this agenda?
I prepared the agenda.
Was it your idea to type hostile workplace on this agenda?
The agenda was reflected, I put the agenda language together based on the
So,
letter.
Mr. Kelty,
that was
this
proceed.
agenda together.
Okay.
Executive session items, hear me out, Mayor. If this is not your idea, we've established here, who told you to use the word hostile workplace?
I
on the
said
agenda?
hostile workplace.
In the agenda?
I didn't have the legal language to put in the executive session.
So
I go to my city manager and I go to my city attorney for that information.
Thank you. So right now, we've established that Mr. Kelsey has placed the term hostile workplace in the agenda, correct?
Actually, Councilman Pena, if anybody wants a copy of this letter, come on up and get it if you like. It's a matter of public record. She writes to a record before this meeting in November 10th that this hostile workplace environment. She used that words before any meeting or anything else.
Fair enough.
Councilman Pena. So I don't see how you can put words in her mouth.
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to establish that, in fact, she is the one that put this agenda together.
But
and
this
used
is
the term-
typical of a bully. You're putting her on trial, and she was the alleged victim. You haven't denied that you've done anything to
I'm
her.
on trial.
Well, you-
I'm trying to defend myself. I'm not bullying. A bully doesn't, I mean, good grief. I'm not the perpetrator here.
Well,
I'm not the antagonist here. Good grief. I'll just say this. We've established now that the term hostile workplace was placed on this agenda for tonight and 2 weeks ago by Mr. Kelty, not by Mrs. Wells.
It's from, you created a hostile work. You're doing it again.
I'm not asking that.
no, please don't
What
argue.
I'm asking you is Mr. Kelty, but when we've established that it was Mr. Kelty's choice to put the language of hostile workplace. And this is where I'm going with this, Mr. Mayor. You're an attorney. Mr. Olson, the next set of questions I have are for Mr. Olson. As a city attorney, your job is to protect the city from lawsuits and claims, correct?
Yes.
So did you advise Mr. Kelty or Ms. Wells or the mayor or anyone in the city that they should not use the term hostile workplace on the agenda?
No.
Okay.
So did I, by the way,
uh,
Mr. Olson, did I send the language proposed for the agenda to you to review?
Yes.
Okay, so if Mr. Olson, you approve this agenda?
Well, I approved the wording.
You approve the wording?
I'm creating the wording, but I didn't look at it.
So that you know that hostile workplace has a legal definition as an attorney. Because me and any person watching this meeting can go on Wikipedia or Google and see that the legal definition of hostile workplace has its own definition legally as refers to discrimination based on race, gender, religion, etc. And at no time did any of these qualify to be deemed hostile workplace. So I'm asking, why did we allow this terminology of hostile workplace to be placed on the agenda?
Well, I discussed it with our labor and employment division, and the allegations would constitute the elements of.
But clearly,
The allegations would constitute hostile work environment.
But clearly,
It's not some grand conspiracy.
But clearly, nothing alleged against me equals the legal term of hostile workplace. There was no race bias, there was no sexual discrimination, there was no
I was a liar,
sexual harassment, there
remember?
was no religious,
Hold on. Just,
there was no religious.
Lester, there's a legal definition of things that's created by case law. After discussing this with our employment lawyers,
Yep.
they were concerned about the allegation of a hostile work environment based on the letter provided. So I had absolutely no problem when it was worded that way in the agenda. I did not propose that it would be.
I will say the only reason that legal term was put on the agenda was to help me make a legal claim against the city. And any person that sanctioned it or allowed it was working against the interests of the city.
Do you have any other comments related to this incident?
I do. I'm not going to get into my thoughts on this because there's much more to be said. And I want the public to understand what's going on here. I hope we can go back to my opening statement here on what's going on. This is just really a smear campaign, an attempt to disparage my name, my reputation, in hopes to discourage people from voting for me if I run for re-election. And for that matter, just discredit me so that
But you did announce in your opening statement that you were running for re-election.
My point
Mr.
being,
Pena, just give me a second.
my point being is,
We can't get into this stuff that is not related to the accusations at hand. And
well,
it's, you're really,
what's related here is, and it's about context, and it's about what I call the hypocrisy of indignancy, and or the Hippocratic indignancy, to which this accusation is being levied against me when there have been other examples of other city councils, the mayor specifically, of using even stronger, if not more abusive language, and yet that was not brought up, and I'm happy to go into that, not tonight. I'll do that, in January for the new year.
We need to have that conversation.
All right, well, that needs to be brought to light, and I can tell you that there is so much more information that needs to be shared as to what has been discussed about city staff, what's been discussed about current and former city employees, and I get those phone calls, and so I'm here to say there's a lot more to be said about this, but as it relates to this particular issue, I'm asking for that video, number one. But I'm also asking, why have we put the city in legal jeopardy when we know that there could be potentially a lawsuit of hostile work environment, and by the very fact of us entertaining it, even on an executive session, because it's on the agenda, that would also then help provide support for an employee having a lawsuit against the city. And so here we are tonight. I had to bring it out in open session because there was a hot mic at the last meeting where I missed because I had food poisoning. And I will tell you, on that hot mic, the discussion was, unlike the mayor had said earlier, he had no discussions about censure. That is incorrect. The hot mic proved that he did. And that conversation was held by the triumvirate of Mr. Kelty and Mr. Bass. And unfortunately, to my shock and dismay, I heard that Mr. Olson was giving strategic arguments or direction as to how the censure process would play out.
That's
that was
my job is to answer questions about
well, we can look at
the
that.
ethics ordinance and the censure process. Absolutely.
Well, I was just going to say is that I thought it was completely out of line. I thought that it was really more on the political side of advisement, not really on the legal side of advisement. But we can look at the video and we can all have the public look at it. Everybody has it on Facebook Live to review it. And that information is very important to know because this is just a big circus act and it's getting so frustrating. I can tell you, my blood pressure has gone up just because of this. I had to take those aspirins earlier, those Tylenol, simply because of the migraine that I had leading up to tonight, because this is not what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be paving streets, building parks, helping families live better lives in Freeport. Not going and having to defend my personal attacks against it because people don't like the fact that I ask questions for transparency, that I ask questions about balanced budgets, or for that matter, faulty contracts that the city was involved with and that we had to do these investigations for. So yeah, this is just all a big attempt for me to be silenced, and this is all part of that, so that I am discredited. And so going forward, even if I'm on Facebook or even at the next meeting, if I try to speak about what's really going on, that they're going to try to have a little bit of a tinge on my reputation here by censuring me. But this censure, let me be clear about a censure. A censure is simply a hand slap to say you did bad. And I will tell you this: there is so much more that's going on here that to pick this item here and then try to legitimize it and make a mountain out of a molehill to create what potentially could be a harmful lawsuit against the city by Ms. Wells is really irresponsible. To even put it on executive session, and the only thing I had a choice was to try to defend myself, and I knew that if I didn't come out first, that I would not have a fair shot at explaining the situation or defending myself, and I would just go ahead and say, please look at that video, and you will see the language that was there and the posture, and for that matter, my temperament. Now, don't mistake my insistence on having my piece heard as me being hostile. I'm just fighting for my good name, my friends. And that's all I have to say for now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In regard to this,
Is there a motion on the floor?
We got a motion to adjourn by Councilman Pena. Is there a second?
I'm gonna second that, Mayor.
All right, we have a second on the motion to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Councilman Pena, Mariah, here.
I said aye.
Aye, okay. All those opposed? Nay. We are adjourned.
That was a long council meeting. to respond. I believe Councilman Pena has the right to defend himself. I do feel like this council is very biased. I've seen it, or I've been treated that way by the mayor and
Hey, Ken,
other council
may I
members.
see your say, please?
So, you know, yeah, he talks a lot, but at the end of the day, he's defending himself, and the constant placement of the agenda item on executive session prompted this to occur. So, yeah, we pretty much adjourned the meeting, and we don't know what action is, what's going to happen afterwards. It might be brought up again, but for the meantime, that's it for Freeport City Council. But
Disappointed in you, Mario.
yes, sir.
I'm disappointed in you.
You have
had a chance to back her up, and you did not.
Yes, sir.
You knew I heard it all, and
Yes,
you
sir.
did not.
Yes,
and I'm
sir.
disappointed in you.
Yes, sir.
I expect more as an elected representative.
Yes, sir. And I have to stay true to my values. And no, sir, I did not cower.
Yes, you did.
I don't cower.
You did cower.
I
You did.
stuck to
And
my
I'm so
to
disappointed
my
in you.
values.
No, you
Yes,
heard
sir.
exactly what was said.
Yes, sir.
And you cowered out.
Yes, sir.
And I'm
No, I
so
did not
disappointed.
cower out, sir.
Yes, you did.
I
You
know
needed
and
to
I
back her
understand.
up.
I understand
You needed to back
the
her up,
politics that
and
takes
you did
place in
not.
Freeport, Texas.
No,
Yes, sir.
this is not
Yes, sir.
politics, and you heard
Yes,
it.
sir.
You
I
heard
know
it.
what politics is.
No, you do not.
And
You do
I
not.
will
You are
stand
too naive.
strong. I'm
You are
not
too
naive. I'm not
You
naive.
are
I
very
am not naive.
And I
Yes,
am
sir.
so disappointed.
Yes, sir.
You had the chance to stand
No,
up
I
and be the man.
I will stand my ground
You
because
had the chance
I
to
was
stand
raised
up and
right.
be the man,
Yes,
and
sir.
you
I
did
am
not.
the man. I am the man.
You did
Yes,
not.
sir.
No.
Yes, sir.
No.
Yes.
sorry.
Yes. Yes.
I'm
Yes.
so sorry.
Yes, sir.
It's such a disappointment.
Yes, sir.
And Freeport,
Good, sir. No, Freeport, I won't stand. I won't back down. They can say what they want, however they want, but at the end of the day, it's the council's divided. We have people in this administration that they want to see division. They like the agenda that this city is creating. They don't listen to the minority in Freeport. They don't listen to council members. We're at a 2-2 right now. This election that's going on in December, it's in February. It's important. It's impactful, and I'm here to fight. But I see their games. I see how the mayor plays games. I see how this gentleman plays games. It's they have their own little party, their own little group of people that go to these council meetings to intimidate, to talk to me, to talk down to me, and definitely I won't back down. That's just the bottom line. They're upset. The mayor's upset that I stand my ground, that I was raised right, that I know what I'm fighting for. I'm fighting for you. The public's interest, that's what's at stake. That's what's always been at stake. Yes, I'm still on. What is it that you need?
Seriously, if you had any follow-up questions,
Yes, sir.
you have my cell phone, so
Okay.
it's absolutely fair for you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And so, yeah, I mean, people get emotional, but to some of these gentlemen here, it's a game. Taxpayers that pay, your money is being played when things don't go right, and so I don't feel like this. Some of these members of the council have your best interest, and like I said, we try to work with them before. They don't work. They will turn the story around, and so that's what you get. You get people that pretty much get emotional and just try to get in my face. But at the end of the day, it's I gotta go to work tomorrow. I gotta go to work at 4. I can't stay upset. That's a lot of acting that took place. That I personally feel that was a lot of acting that took place. Same thing when Bremen stormed out. A lot of acting took place there. Now there's videos on that. So that's why I record Facebook Live, so that the citizens can see that there's a lot of acting, a lot of control of the narrative that takes place, and basically this is what you get. I do feel like Councilman Pena, he had the right to defend himself, and the accusations were big. He pretty much laid it down to what the city manager was trying to do. and the fact that they put on the agenda that he was that he created a hostile work environment. I mean, how do you, like, the city secretary posted or described it in that way. The city attorney should have he should have caught that. That way we wouldn't have gotten into this mess. Then you have people like Mr. Matamoros was trying to cry about it, make a big deal out of it, but we could have done this in-house. It's all because Councilman Pena got upset because some of the papers, his paperwork on the packet was missing. That's all. It got turned into this big political mess that the fax is gonna write, and basically it's going to make it a big headline story tomorrow. And the facts, as the facts is always, they are very, very biased towards me and Councilman Pena, and they've written it all over their newspapers. So, I mean, that's Freeport for you. That's Freeport. It's tough. It's a fight every council meeting. It is what it is, and it's just that way. Councilman Pena has good ideas. He brings a lot to the table. He talks a lot. I get it. People get annoyed. But at the end of the day, it's like his ideas outshine these folks. The mayor, all he said is that we put together the strategic plan. That's just lazy. That's other cities, they hire outside groups to build their strategic plan. And with the fact that we don't do it, the fact that it's ideas versus ideas, that's why the city doesn't move forward. And so, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I know I got some folks, but no, I think this will settle down. It's the end of the year. I can't wait for 2023 for re-election myself, and yeah, there's it's a lot at stake, and I feel like these guys, it's definitely they feel the heat, so that's why they bring up issues like these. But other than that, that's pretty much it. I'll see y'all. You have any questions or want just message me on Messenger. But other than that, I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.